Hello and welcome, everyone. My name is Katie O'Hara-Krebs. I am the social media editor for Portal Libraries in the Academy. I'm pleased today to welcome Lane Wilkinson, Director of Research Services at the University of Tennessee at Chattanooga. He is here to speak about the article Information Literacy and the Value of Truth. This is his article that can be found in Portal's preprint site in volume 26, issue 1. The article is free to read, and viewers may access this by navigating to the Johns Hopkins Press preprint site for Portal and take a look after you watch this video. So, Lane, welcome today. Thank you so much for being with me.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so I wonder if you could give us a little bit of an idea about what the inspiration and motivation behind this research topic was for you.
Sure, yeah. So my paper is about the value of the concept of truth in information literacy in libraries, and the I think the greatest motivation was actually political in nature. Over the past several decades, we've seen this weaponization, I call it, of ideas like truth and fact and reason, mostly by extremists on the political fringes. This goes back not just to the current administration in the last decade, but I remember 20 years ago reading about alternative facts and yellow cake uranium and these sorts of things. Um, and what we're seeing now, especially over the past decade, is this rise in this these ideas like facts don't care about your feelings, or we have a white nationalist, anti-Semitic, transphobic social media platform called Truth Social. Um, and there's persistent attacks on science, medicine, universities, expertise, and the messaging is clear from it's our side is rational and based in truth. Theirs is woke and emotional. And the fact that, this supposedly truthful, rational side of the political spectrum is spreading misinformation, disinformation, and really bad critical thinking is kind of funny to me. But the thing is, I think truth has a profound social, political, and cultural value that people value the truth, even if they have trouble describing it, even if they don't realize it. But people like being correct. They don't like being in error. And I think a certain segment of society has captured the rhetoric of truth, even though they're fundamentally hostile to it. So, from the standpoint of libraries, I started looking into how libraries, as these kind of critical centers of information literacy, knowledge creation, even community justice, how are they responding to the weaponization of truth by those that are most hostile towards it? And there's really nothing there. In the library scholarship, the dominant attitude is either skepticism or indifference. Um, and I don't know if it's the influence of like certain niche branches of critical theory that sneak in, or if it's just that we tend to take the concept for granted. But I thought it would be important to be explicit. Libraries have a vested interest in promoting the idea that truth is something we should value. And I just haven't seen that said in the literature.
Well, then I really appreciated your article, and as a communications librarian and working with students who, consume media and are looking to produce media, I think this is a very important topic that, we
Yeah.
need to continue to discuss. So thank you for that. I don't know if you want to give us a little bit of a summary of the article. You've already given us a little bit of insight, but is there
Yeah.
anything, more summarization of the article you'd like to share?
Sure. Yeah. I structured the article based off of there's a great book called True to Life by Michael Lynch, philosopher that I really love and respect. And he kind of he advocates for something called truth pluralism, which is a sort of demystification of what truth is. We don't have to go into the weeds of all these abstract philosophical theories. We treat truth as a very simple, basic concept and look at how it guides our lives. And my article starts by focusing on some common misconceptions that I've seen in the library literature. The first one I mention is this idea that truth is some big capital T, metaphysically weighty thing, this Platonic ideal that I use the example of, people talk about libraries as temples of knowledge or temples of truth, that sort of thing. And I say, no, that's not what truth is when we talk about truth. It's not this big deified, reified thing. It's a fairly simple, everyday concept. I confront the idea that truth is just a matter of opinion. We see that a lot. And I do get the motivation for that when we watch power weaponize the rhetoric of truth. It makes us want to say, well, that's just their opinion. And but it really falls apart when you start to try to distinguish what is true from what is believed to be true. And from there, I talk about there's a common misconception that if you value truth, that has to be the only thing you value. That other things get devalued, things like justice and fairness and respect for dignity. But that's simply not the case. Truth exists in a spectrum of things that we value, and we can override it if it serves the needs of justice or fairness. I mean, that's okay, but we don't have to get rid of it. It's not in conflict with other values. It's a balancing act. There's a very, as an idea I've seen a lot that truth requires certainty. Certainty is impossible, so therefore we don't need to worry about truth at all. And I think that confuses, as I say in the paper, this confuses what the value of truth means. It doesn't mean we value some output. It means that we value truth and how it directs our intellectual life. It serves a regulative function. Um, Even if we never achieve absolute certainty, we can still value truth. I use the analogy of it's like justice. We'll never live in a perfectly just world. Does that mean we should abandon the concept of justice? And I don't think anyone would say that. So truth functions in much the same way. It helps guide our intellectual lives. I'm a big proponent of what's called virtue epistemology and virtue information literacy is a big thing. In fact, I literally on my desk right now, I have virtue information literacy by Wayne Bivens Tatum. And he does a great job explaining how we should rethink information literacy in terms of these intellectual virtues like humility, open-mindedness, credibility, reliability, sincerity. And ultimately, when you start looking into it, you find that according to virtue theorists, these are all rooted in respect for or value for truth. So that's kind of what I'm promoting is this idea of looking at what we value, what virtues we want to instill as libraries.
That's some really great food for thought. So thank you. Yeah. What is the big takeaway, that big idea that you want Portal readers to, continue to ponder after reading your article or watching us here today?
There's a line in the paper that I really like. So I don't know, but there's a line where I say that the correct response to facts don't care about your feelings is not, well, facts don't really exist. I don't think that's the correct response. I mean, yes, we can get philosophical about it, but my paper is trying to back off of the philosophical and really ground it in more just what is meaningful to us as librarians in communities. And I want people to see that truth is not this quaint relic of the Enlightenment. It's something that's a fundamental part of how we interact with others as social creatures, because it's the ground for how we act with sincerity and humility and open-mindedness, and really all these sorts of virtues that I think libraries are critical, especially now more than ever. I think libraries play an important role in cultivating those sorts of attitudes. And yes, truth is weaponized by people. It's always been weaponized, but that doesn't mean we should ignore it or dismiss it. It doesn't mean that valuing the truth means you're on the side of the and neo-Nazis on Truth Social. It means we should reclaim it and say that sometimes people are wrong, and if someone can be wrong, that means there has to be a right. And so truth doesn't have to be a philosophical abstraction. It doesn't have to be this bogeyman of positivism. It's a simple concept. It guides what I think we do as librarians, and it guides information literacy. And this paper, as far as I know, is the first one that actually just is upfront about it. And so, I wish librarians would just stop and think that, truth is not a scary thing. It's not, it actually plays an important role. We don't need to go into classrooms and teach students about truth. We just need to recognize that it is something that is valued and guides a lot of what we are trying to do.
Well, you've given us a lot to think about and a lot of really good information there in your paper. So if anyone hasn't read it, I really hope they go ahead and take a look at that in our most recent issue. So thank you again for speaking about your paper. Thank you for being bold and finding this new area where there was a research gap and like really filling that. And it's a great piece. I just want to remind viewers again that they can read the article for free on the Johns Hopkins Press preprint site for Portal. Thank you for watching today. Thank you, Lane, for being with me, and keep an eye out for future author interviews.
All right. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Bye.